First things first, we want to start with a 45-degree split from our spine. So our legs are going to be at 45 degrees. The wider the split, the more power you're going to get out of the split. So we'll talk about that. All right, your arm that's going to be holding the kettlebell, let's all do right arm today, so we're speaking the same language. If your right arm's holding the bell, the arm that's elevated is also going to be the leg that's elevated. So if my right arm is up, my right leg is going to be up. Okay, so everybody go and show me your right arm up position real quick. I'm going to lock that thing out one time. Good, good. Good, good. I see something I really like there. And then good, I'm going to add that same thing for you, which is just a little bit of the shoulder packing. All right, so first idea today, everybody can relax their arm for a second. I'm going to talk about shoulder packing. Hello, sir. You can keep that. Shoulder packing. Will, if you would, do not assist me, but allow me to pick you up off the ground. Okay, so hold out your right arm. We're going to lock arms after you fix your hair. I mean, your hair looks good to me, bro. So we're going to hold arms. All right, do not help me. Just allow me to pick you up. I'm not going to drop you. I'm not going to pick you up very far, okay? So as I pick up, you're fighting me a little bit. Allow me to pick you up. Nope, nope. Relax, relax. Allow me to pick you up. Okay, good. So what he was already doing is he was shoulder packing. That's why I couldn't pick him up. Now, if I go to set him back on the ground, you see how his body goes into segments to get back to the ground? You guys all see that? So as I pick him up, you see how I can pull him apart and I can put him back together? His shoulder was not packed. What's up, dude? His shoulder was not packed when I pull his arm across his body. So then the second thought then, okay, the second thought then is now locking in through your armpit. Do not allow me to pick you up. That's called shoulder packing. I can't pull, yeah, that's a firm arm, you're right. Jordan's queuing it up good. That's good. That's another way we talked about. That's actually a good cue for shoulder packing. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go around and see if you can shoulder pack one time. So everybody go right arm up. If I can pick you up, good, good. Not going to hurt anybody or anything weird. Just getting a shot to understand shoulder packing. Very good. It doesn't have to be incredibly aggressive, but I shouldn't be able to take your arm away from your body for the most part. Good. Good. And then this was a good note here, right? You're not holding on through your trap. You're holding on through your lats. Trap, lats. Trap, lats. Do you think if I am overactive in my traps that that's going to help my shoulder health? No, your traps are part of the reason that people have bad shoulder health. They row up in their traps, right? They use their traps for their pull-ups, all of these things. So we need to be able to teach people how to get their lats to fire and how to stop overusing their traps. This is one way we do that. All right, another cool thought that Jordan showed me right now. Shoulder pack for me one time. Another way you could mess with this, lock the elbow though. Elbow lock all the way straight. All the way straight, there it is, good. Another way you could test this is generally a little like directional joysticking or something like that. You see that his arm hardly moved at all. If I can knock his arm off of his shoulder, then he's not packing his shoulder very well, right? All that makes sense so far? You have something? Oh, no. Oh, cool. Good. All right, so our first thought, that's our setup. 45 degree for the spine. I need to understand how to pack my shoulder. All right, I'm giving you guys more than I'll ever give a client because my goal today is to teach you guys how to teach it, how to spot what's wrong with it, how to fix it, and how to understand how to make this productive and not destructive, if you will. Okay, so let's go back down to our first position. We're talking about the first step today. The first step today is called the log roll to the high sit. The log roll to the, I'm sorry, you guys can relax. I'll show you one time and then you guys can demonstrate. So the log roll to the high sit. Once I pack my shoulder, this is not a sit up. If you have a client complaining about their back in the first step of the get up, they're trying to sit, they're not rolling. All right, this is the concept that I talked about with like physical therapy. If somebody had a traumatic back injury, the first way they teach you to get out of bed is to roll out of bed. Not to roll like out of bed, but to like roll to your side. It's called a log roll. Very simply, it would teach you to roll and then start to finesse your way up so you don't shock load your spine, right? Versus if I'm in bed, I wake up, I'm like, oh, I don't got the spine for that, right? So instead it would be a nice easy log roll, and then I would start to maneuver myself up. That's how they would teach a person coming out of a back trauma to start moving again. All right, so the log roll here is rotational. It's not a sit-up. So I'm going to push through this foot. Just like if I was doing a rotational wall ball, that's going to put force into the ground. That ground is going to reciprocate rotation, and it's going to send me into this roll. So I push, thank you. I push through my heel and hip here. Thank you, sir. And with that energy, I'm going to immediately prop onto my elbow. It is a roll, not a sit. So it's roll onto the elbow. If you see a client doing this incorrectly, what you're gonna see is you're gonna see this straight leg kicking up really high in the air. If they don't roll, it's gonna look like this to get up to the get up. That's my first inclination that the person's sitting and they're not rolling, is when that foot comes popping off the ground. In a perfect world, that foot would not leave the ground. I rolled and learned the pathways of rotation, rotation is a part of core functionality, right? So hip, all that makes sense. Cool? So let's start there. Let's go to log roll. This is the log roll. This is known as the high sit. Talk to me.
What do you mean by a 45-degree spine?
A 90 would be like out here. Okay. I don't own that. And I'm not sure that would be powerful, but 45 degrees. So this is my spine here. If that would be 90 degrees, that's about 45 degrees. That gives me the ability to push. Sometimes if I'm narrow here, I don't have the same rotational component that I would have if I had this going on. Okay. Good question. All good there? Yeah, so you got to figure out where that is for you. So yeah, everybody's gonna be a little bit different, and then maybe you like whatever 45 degrees is percepted as, like that's fine, right? So you can come forward a little bit, Ryan. I'll move out your way. See. All right, so let's do this. Let's try 5 log rolls to a high sit. So start with the first phase. Just pause. I don't want the high sit yet. Just give me the log roll to the elbow. Give me 5 of those. Whenever you guys are ready. What's that? For what? We will get to that, but not yet. Good, good. And then control yourselves back down. Do it again. Good, good, good. Strong log roll. Good. And some of you guys are already freaking solid at the next thing I was going to talk about. I'm hoping I can catch you guys on a couple things here. Nice, Conan. Good. Oh, and then you just did it. Thank you. All right, cool. Thank you. All right, come back down real quick. All right, I got a teaching moment. I was hoping somebody would do it. I'm sorry you're the guy, but I'm gonna pick on you a little bit. So go back through just the first step. Log roll. Don't come onto the hand. Stay on the elbow. Go ahead. Good. This isn't bad, but it got worse when you went to push up. I call this, this is what we want here, come back down, is we want a nice open chest here. All right, so when we talk about shoulder health, right now, this is like front shoulder. This would be like having like a push-up where my push-up is really wide and my shoulder's sticking out the front of my socket. This is eventually gonna irritate a client, and front shouldering is also like what leads like shoulder impingements and stuff like that. So instead of being front shouldered, I almost want this to serve more as like a high plank or like a side plank. So yeah, you wanna stop the child from taking the, those are weapons, Jordan, thank you. All right, so, sorry buddy, we had to take those. Okay, so, he just like sticks, like PVC pipes and stuff like that. Okay, so what's cool here too is in a perfect world, the weight of the kettlebell is gonna sit directly onto your elbow here. If I have my shoulder sticking out, you see how this changes the loading sequence of that kettlebell? So if I can keep that thing directly here, that's a much stronger position.
You kind of like try to keep my elbow in the line with my fist?
Yeah, now what I do on the way back down is I'm pushing my elbow into the ground. Nope, but I want to keep that tall chest. And as I push my elbow into the ground, I fall back slowly away to get back to the initial position. Versus front shouldering my way through that thing where I come into here and fall back. I want to keep that tall position, and I want to hold that tall position as much as I possibly can. This is a part of the strength training of the Get Up, is teaching people how to pack their shoulders appropriately and not front shoulder. Does that make sense? This is a part of the strength training of the exercise. Just like if you're bench pressing with your elbows real wide, I would tell you get your elbows down, right? So I'm looking for a tall chest. When I come to the high sit, the same thing has to happen. When I come up in the high sit, I don't want to be dumping out the front of my shoulder. I want to externally rotate my shoulder. So as I put my hand on the ground, I may even have to position it a little bit, but I'm going to externally rotate. High sit, not slouch sit, not slouch sit, high sit. Right? And again, ideally, that weight of the kettlebell is pretty much, not all the way, but it's pretty much directly coming into this hand.